Hello, my name is Sham, and this is Go. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Lotus Emira, and there's a few things we know about this car. The first two are the engines. This car is going to have a turbocharged inline four provided by AMG. This is the same engine that is used in the CLA and in the C43 AMG, which is basically the budget AMGs for the C class. And the second engine is the same supercharged Toyota that's in the current models of Lotus. The AMG engine will make about 400 horsepower, while I do not know the actual figures for the V6. I'm assuming it's going to be a little more. Now, this car is mated to 3 transmission, a 6-speed auto, a 6-speed manual, and an AMG 8-speed dual clutch. So this car will have a dual clutch, and I'm assuming that will be mated to the inline 4, which actually is a pretty crazy thing to have for a car of this caliber. And I'm sure you've all heard probably the biggest news about this new car is what it's replacing, and that is basically the whole lineup of Lotus, the Elise, the Extige, and the Evora. This car will be replacing, and it will be the last gas-powered Lotus. So there's that. Now let's talk about the design. This design is like a baby Avaya. It looks like the Avaya in the front and the sides, but the rear end is giving me McLaren vibes, and I think it's more to do with the rear lights than anything. Other than that, the car actually looks pretty damn good. And I want to briefly touch on the interior of this car because it is pretty modern for what modern is. It's also pretty basic for a modern car, but it is an upgrade over some of the other Lotus models, which is pretty lackluster. I remember the first time I personally looked inside a Lotus and was basically awestruck about how basic and rudimentary and stripped down the interior was, which I know is for weight savings, which makes the car very tossable in the corners and driving through country roads or whatever people like to do with this car, or take it to the track. I understood that, so I didn't really beef it, but it was something I didn't expect from what caliber of car I thought Lotus was at the time. And the Emira's interior is what I thought I would see from Lotus back then, so to me it's pretty acceptable. Now let's get into the price, and I'm just gonna say starting price is around $75,000. Now I don't know if you call that cheap. I call it affordable for a sports car and a brand new sports car. It's a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, but the way the world is going, as I always say, and we know the next generation of Lotus is going to be electric, so I have no beef with that price. I think it's pretty excellent for the type of car you're probably going to get from Lotus. Now, let's get to what you came here for. Did Lotus miss its golden opportunity with this car? And I have to say yes. They probably should have came out with a new model years ago. Granted, they just came under new ownership in 2017, but the facts still remain. They've needed a new car for a while now, but I think they've seen an opportunity to sell more cars with the Avaya on the horizon, and that's why this car looks a lot like it, with a price that is not even close to what the Avaya will cost. So in that respect, they haven't really missed their golden opportunity. Now, if this car doesn't sell, that's another story. We'll have to wait and see how this car actually performs, but the fact of the matter is this car is probably not going to be around a long time, because they want to get into electric cars by 2028, and this car is coming out in 2020. Possibly, we don't know yet. So maybe 4 years this car is going to be on the market. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be there the whole 6 years, which is kind of a long lifespan for a car like this. But there's been Lotuses that have been around for 20 plus years, so it's really not a big issue. But I do think they probably should have done this a long time ago, and I do understand it takes a while to develop a car, but it is what it is. It's just kind of frustrating to get this now. I'm not a Lotus guy. I never owned a Lotus, never driven a Lotus, but you know, you kind of expect them to have released a new car by now, and it's here, so you know you really can't beef it. So I'm not gonna jump down their throat just because it took them a while to get here. So there you have it, my thoughts on the Lotus Emira, on whether they missed their golden opportunity with this car. I do think they probably should have released something a few years back, but what can you do? It takes a while to develop a new car, and they're finally here, and hopefully the electric cars will be just as good as their, you know, other cars. So with that said, I'd like to bring the video to a close. So if you like the video, like the videos. If you dislike the video, dislike the video. If you want to see what I got planned next, come see what I got planned next. Got a lot of stuff for this channel. Really want you guys to be there with me. With that said, I'll catch you later.